Oh yes, you're welcome back to today's broadcast. Oby Ezekwesili shaking the Nigerian foundation. She is now shaking the foundation of Nigeria. She is now asking them a very serious question concerning this issue of unity of the country and where are we even heading to. Make sure you watch this video to the end so that for you to understand what is really going on. She is now saying that the identity of Nigeria, and everybody should now vote for himself or for herself. No more voting for any candidates and no more voting for anybody. The way it is happening now, she's now denying the identity, the Nigerian identity, saying that is no more Nigeria. Just watch by yourself, because as it is, the headline says, Oby Ezekwesili identity shifts signal the final intellectual collapse of one Nigerian project. This issue of one Nigeria, it is now coming to an end. It is now coming to an end. That is why you see a lot of things is happening. A lot of things is happening. It's just like a play. Before you know, they will tell you that the end is now here. Mazam the kind of said that we are going to be sleeping, and before you know, they will find ourselves in another nation. And the dream is about to happen. Just yesterday, the Israel radio broadcasting station, their radio station and their TV station announced the issue of Biafra in their own country. And the Kingset, where is now challenging the UK government, telling them to leave Biafra alone and for Biafra to be on their own country, for them to leave Nigeria, and also for them to leave the Biafran, the Israel community in Nigeria, for them to be free. In fact, it's very, very hot. Just watch. I was about to watch, like, subscribe, and share for everyone to see things going on in the country.
Which of the presidential candidates have you chosen to support in that election?
Well, you know, in 2023, I made it very clear that just using the criteria on which I see leadership either fail to govern well or succeed to govern well, that I would not be making any choice amongst the three candidates that happen to also be the three candidates again in the next elections. And I said, just on the premise of that, nothing else, no primordial affiliations or anything driving this assessment, character, competence, capacity. And I made it clear that the other two candidates score considerably lower than what you would assign to a governor, former Governor Oby, and so that I was going to stand with Governor Oby. I don't think that anything has really significantly changed,
right.
But we just, you know, keep waiting and seeing what will happen to this country, because frankly speaking, I do not think that the most important thing for Nigerians to be talking about is the 2027 elections.
At this point.
At this point.
Right.
At this point. I mean, if you consider the kind of hollowing out of the Nigeria state that we have experienced in the last couple of years, then you should know that, you know, we almost just, you know, what's that word they use where you're walking, sleeping and
daydreaming?
Yeah, you know, you're just walking sleepwalking.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like we're in denial. I mean, think of what has happened to us from one electoral cycle to another electoral cycle. And what do we have to show for it? What we have to show for it is the complete collapse of the dignity of the human being, as, you know, the dignity of life. It's like we have zeroed out on the value of life. And yet we continue to think that somehow, you know, if we just keep doing elections, we'll be fine. And I am challenging that and saying that Nigerians should at least vote for themselves. And, you know, if no one votes for you in terms of the leaders you're choosing, vote for yourselves. Because think of what we have seen in the degradation. The degradation is devastating. And frankly speaking, the greatest tragedy of the country is this resignation that this is our destiny. I say, no, this is by design.
The acceptance of it.
It is not our destiny. This is by design.
It shouldn't be.
And this design needs to be challenged. And I have put it out there that challenging this design requires going to the table of real conversation that leads to an agreement on what our shared values are. I mean, the more you listen to rhetorics across the polity, you know that we really have a problem of understanding whether we have any shared values at all. And then what we have to agree...
There is an identity
An
crisis.
identity. So I was going to come to that. Then the second thing is the national vision. What are we all aspiring to? Because what you see is almost a complete orphaning of the Nigeria state. The Nigeria construct is orphaned, and it's only loved by the people I call predators of patriotism. These are predators. When they are in office, they are patriotic about Nigeria. Outside of office, they are not patriotic about Nigeria. So in office, they create a false equivalency of saying that a criticism of poor governance that they are offering to Nigerians is you not liking Nigeria. I mean, that is so disingenuous. It is duplicitous and should be something nobody gives any.
But let me ask you
But
this.
the third thing is agreeing a common identity, sort of where we say, on the basis of the fact that I absolutely love this country, I would rather be Nigerian than be any other thing, we can have some common agreements around the identity. So you're defending that identity. I am defending it. It does not matter what you believe or what I believe. We are agreeable to the construct of the Nigerian identity.
But
we don't have that. We don't have these three things.
You're absolutely right. But that Nigerian identity has to be, if you like, earned for the people.
Yes.
In other words, there's got to be a justifiable reason why they should identify as Nigerian, rather than fall back on the safe places that they identify with, which is their ethnic group and their religion.
Yes.
I mean, the country has to offer them something.
You've said it so well.
To buy into.
Yes,
and that vision that unites the country into that vision just doesn't exist.
Charles, you've said it so brilliantly.
You said it. I mean, I'm simply emphasizing, I'm simply buttressing what you said.
But so in addition to what you've said, that absence of a sense of social contract, a sense of social cohesion, social capital, all of these things are nation formations, right? And the absence of it is what is creating a digging deeper in the hole.
True.
And the Americans say, when you're in the hole, you stop digging. So to dig us out, we do need to have this conversation, almost like saying, okay, the design that we're run right now has not worked for us. We do need to design again, and that's the conversation.
They don't want to have that conversation. Why do you think that is the case?
Well, you know, one of the things you must give to the political class, east, west, north, south of this country, is that they actually have a consensus. They do. You know, when you want to understand on an evidence-based approach, the consensus they have, you just take a look at the National Assembly.
But when you say
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, people would say that you yourself were in politics. I mean, you were a presidential candidate.
Yes.
You were in government.
Yes.
And your government didn't didn't bring up that conversation, did it?
Oh no, but there was a national political conference, which for me still does not meet the standard of what I am arguing for.
But at least you made some effort.
Yeah, yes, but so what I am arguing for is that since the independence of our country, we've not really had the kind of conversation that we should have had immediately the British left the scene. We should have really had a conversation that would get us to the place where we agree that these are shared values, this is our national vision, and
then come up with a constitution based on that.
Precisely.
That's why you're talking about restructuring.
Precisely. You know, and in the absence of that, you're unable to transit. I used to say that we failed to do a transitioning from country to nation. But now we even don't completely have the full parameters of what defines country.
It's a bit depressing.
It is depressing. You know, when you look at the whole metrics of what the United States, the United Nation defines as country, we struggle on a number of those parameters.
Well, let me come to this point, because we are, as they say, where we are, and therefore we've got to measure. I think the Chinese say that you sort of look at the world from where you're standing and take the first step from there. Is supporting Peter Oby for you an act of political realism or an act of political faith? Because the APC has money, the APC has structures, the APC has incumbency, and the opposition appears fragmented at the moment. So, I mean, my question is supporting Peter Oby an act of political realism or an act of political faith for you?
Yes. So, I mean, anyone who absolutely works on the basis of what you call political realism, which is that, you know, the pattern of behavior of incumbency in our politics has always been to buy up everything they can buy. And that, you know, predictably, the outcome would be one where they are doing everything to negate the basic ethos and principles of fair play in political competition. And that, therefore, whether it is fairness or transparency or, you know, accountable systems that really play by the rules of the game, that we would seldom be guaranteed that. But we've also seen situations where the people vote for themselves. They come to that point where they sort of say, you know what, okay, we've had it.
Right.
We've really had it. We can't continue on this trajectory because it actually is too injurious. That kind of moment of a tipping point is something that you don't completely write off.
Nevertheless, millions of Nigerians, and you know this because you're in the community. I mean, you do a lot of work in the community. Millions of Nigerians are hungry.
Yes.
They're under enormous economic pressure. If the APC can offer immediate material incentives while Peter Oby offers a longer-term vision, which do you think will ultimately determine how Nigerians vote?
I mean, you're correct. I even did a research on the basis of which we have the fixed politics and the SPPG showing exactly that. The low productivity of the average Nigerian, as you call them, basically means low household income. And therefore, it is always statistically significant for them to get any additional. They live for the day, okay? They live for a day. When you look at the household income, the statistical significance of anything that they are given, whether in kind or in cash, really takes a different decision point. And that decision point basically is you the elite, have 4 years. We have 1 day. That 1 day that they can increase the pie of the day's earnings is sufficient to make a decision. And so when the middle class, you know, rebuke the really poor, by the way, 62% by virtue of our national statistics. So we're at more than 130 million of our citizens in that bracket.
Yeah.
And so when they make those decisions, and the elite, the middle class elite, disdainfully say to them, why are you selling your vote? You're selling your future. It's actually elite privilege that is very obnoxious, because the fact is there is nothing that tells them that tomorrow will be okay. Which is why, for me, if we looked at what has happened with a place like Kenya, I always joke with the Kenyans that if they took all their politicians and brought them here at night and took us to Nairobi, the two populations will wake up and not know that anything happened. You wouldn't know that anything happened. But look at Kenya. In the 2010, I was Kofi Annan was at the political spectrum of it. I was at the economic spectrum of it as World Bank Vice President. And Kenya was going to just be a rubble. But they managed to get themselves to the place where they had a conversation. That conversation led to a constitution that was determined by referendum. Today, when the Kenyans disagree, they are not disagreeing about these critical nation formation issues. What they are doing is they are disagreeing about, okay, you're not governing us well, and we need to get rid of you. Okay, so, but in terms of those existential issues of the Kenya state, they have gone beyond that now. And that's what we need. We need to come to the moment of truth where we actually have this conversation. And I've seen the political class pretend that, oh, if we went to a conversation on how to restructure our federation for higher productivity and competitiveness, it could break up the country. Lies. Sheer lies. They basically are pushing this thing of wanting to control this artificial state that they prey on. They prey on the artificial state. And for as long as this state is deformed, it works for them. And so the people who can be the countervailing force to our political class are the ones that you described as being distracted by just survival issues. So what it means is that there has to arise a segment of this society that actually wants to pay the price for what is necessary to be done. And it's the irresponsible middle class refusing to actually invest in a sustainable Nigeria. And guess what's going on? They fail in the space of enlightened self-interest because the children that they are giving a better life, they are all in Canada and America and in the UK. So you have homes where husband and wife are living, all children are gone. And, you know, these days I'm hearing of parents that are relocating to live with their children abroad. You know, it comes for you.
There's a terrible dislocation.
It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Yeah. So the middle class, the what we call ordinarily the elite of society that have abdicated responsibility for saying, you know what, the poorest segment of society cannot organize this conversation just on their own. We are going to be as selfless as possible because we have a stake in this. We need society to offer the room for the kind of social and economic mobility that we got. I mean, think of all of these fellows at the National Assembly. None of them ever had a Ford-like or Rockefeller-like father in their history. And yet they have made enormous wealth from going to government.
You know, it's
we must question that.
It's fascinating listening to your analysis. I mean, it's just so engaging. And what I find from it, I mean, in most societies, you have think tanks that come up with these kinds of things and give it to the government so the government can look ahead. I mean, this sort of analysis is the kind of thing that's very important for a government to have to look ahead. But they never seem to hearken to those kinds of messages, or they wouldn't even bother to read it. And what I would like to ask you is, because you seem to believe that somebody who can put this country back on the right path of rectitude would be Peter Oby. That's your candidate. What would he need to do differently this time to convert the enthusiasm of people who follow him, who appear to constitute quite a lot of people,
right,
into a genuinely nationwide electoral coalition?
So it requires organizing, right? And organizing is a very technical thing. It is not merely providing inspirational speeches. It is really very technical because it's granular. And it's really about being strategic in the way that you're bringing people together.
But would it be the opposition coming together?
I'm not sure about the opposition coming together because they appear to be very entrenched in their individual ideas of, and their ambitions.
Right.
But the people of Nigeria, I am canvassing for a Nigeria where people sort of are saying the greatest, the most severe missing item in the way of leadership in our country, on our continent, based on my research, is the character part of it.
Oh yes, they have seen that there is no need of still holding on this issue of one Nigeria of 18. They have seen that this cannot work, and nothing can work. The only solution is for everybody to go. Divide Nigeria, let everyone go and develop their zone and go and develop their region. If not, still claiming and they still clamoring for one Nigeria. Just this last week, the other man is Islamic cleric were claiming that Nigeria is Islamic nation. It's such kind of a something. It is a place where you as a Christian want to live, and it's a place where you want that same country to develop. How come that cannot develop? Because the idea of those people, what they have in their brain is to destroy and is to make everybody to be Islamized. That is their own plan. And the selfish leaders we have, all of them, they know the solution, they know the problem of this country, and they know the solution, but they will never solve it. They will keep claiming that, yes, once I get into office, I will make everything work. I'm going to build this, I'm going to build that. But once they get into it, they will even make the poor people to suffer more than what they have been suffering before. And all those things is what links to this issue of terrorism, banditry, and rest of it. And if you want to even to speak up or to speak against the injustice that's going on in the country, the next thing they will use their military men to come and pick you. And at the end, person will sit one place and will be telling you that Nigeria will work. No, it is now high time for us to start identifying who we are. Who we are. Do we want to make this country to work? Or if we don't want to, then let's discuss about this issue of unity. Because every time you come up, you hear in the radio, some of them, all the radio stations in Nigeria, they don't even want to discuss the unity or the division of the country. They will tell you the sacrosanct. You cannot say it about it. If you are in a place or you marry a wife or a husband, and in this aspect, you are not seeing what you are expected to see. Every day it is about beating you, insulting you, and molesting you every time. Then you as a woman, what will you do? Or you as a man, what are you going to do? The next thing it is to say enough is enough. Let everybody depart and go his separate ways, because this cannot be and this cannot last forever. And that is what is happening. The people, they keep claiming and they keep denying, claiming that Nigeria is okay, and when they know that the country is not okay. This same thing is what Mazam Kanu was saying, that Nigeria is not suit for anybody and Nigeria is not okay for anybody. Let's divide the country. That is the only solution to this problem we find ourselves. The British who colonized Nigeria, they already saw those things before doing it. They saw everything and they join everybody together so that they will have space, they will have the chance to be coming in and to be taking the resources of the country. Look at the way the country is suffering today, but if you go around, you will see the type of mineral resources that is being deposited in this country. This country does not even deserve to suffer. Nobody deserves to suffer. But because of the colonial masters, because of the wicked leaders, because of the identity crisis, nobody understands what and where it's going. Everybody is being confused because the system is not okay for anybody. In fact, this question and this talk this woman raises up this time is a very serious and a critical talk that every government official, every of them need to look into, no matter where they are. Now, she is now denying his identity of being Nigeria. She's now denying it. It's very okay. It's very, very nice. And one day, they will still speak the truth. They will still say the truth. One day, they will say the truth. And as the truth is now coming up gradually, we are going to see it both in National Assembly, both in their presidency, and both everywhere. Very soon, they will understand what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and what Mazi Simon Ekpa has been shouting on, and the reason why they fought the war for each zone to be. They will understand the main reason of all those things. I would like your comment down below. What do you think about the whole thing going on in the country? Like, subscribe, and share for everyone to see things happening in Nigeria. So thank you for watching.